ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Wednesday, June 24th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Coming up in the next few minutes, we're going to hear from Ryan Crisp. He is the Associate Athletic Director for Revenue Generation at Marshall University. We got a lot to get into with Ryan today. I'm going to be focusing a lot on the new premium space that is being offered by Marshall, the Porch, which is in the south end zone. Of course, Ryan will catch us up on everything that you need to know about events happening with the Thundering Herd as well. So I told you yesterday on the show, if you had questions for Ryan, go ahead and send those in. You can do so as well. And that's 304-396-TALK. Again, the text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. So we'll go over a little bit of everything with Ryan, talk a little bit more in depth about this space. I've got questions. Some of them are logistical. Some of them are, why this concept? Why not another concept? So Ryan will tell you everything you need to know about this, and maybe this is the space for you if you've been looking for a premium space, and this is where you can get in, and it sounds like it's right up your alley. Ryan will give you everything you need to know to be a part of that. So we'll do that in a few minutes. And, of course, we're going to talk a little bit more about the new age-based eligibility for the NCAA. So what that basically means in a nutshell. And there's been some maybe not the exact information, misinformation, or just and not a true understanding. So basically 5 years over 5 seasons. You get 5 years over 5 seasons, but it's going to depend on your clock. And right now, there's going to be some variations because we're in different seasons when it comes to, okay, this is when this student-athlete started, this is when this student-athlete started. But really what's going to happen is your clock is going to begin upon the initial fall or full-time enrollment in the academic year. So that's when your clock begins. If you enroll, if you're 18 and you're out of high school and you're ready to go to college, you're 18, your clock will begin. Really, your clock's going to begin if you turn 19 and then the academic year follows. Or if you enroll as a full-time student, your initial full-time enrollment, your clock begins. So you can be 18, you can enroll, and your clock begins. You can be 19, and you can turn 19 in the middle of the academic year. And if you're not enrolled, that's the thing. If you turn 19, you haven't enrolled yet. If you turn 19 and the academic year has already begun before you turn 19, then you can start your clock when you enroll. Because it's the academic year following your 19th birthday. So if the academic year's already begun and then you turn 19 and you haven't enrolled yet, then basically you get in, you enroll. And that's when your clock begins. Or you can enroll now. You can enroll early. If you're 18, you can enroll now. And that's when your clock begins. It doesn't wait on 19. So there will be a lot of questions about this process. What does that mean for current student athletes? How will current student athletes have to navigate this? And I've been reading a lot. There are a lot of coaches who are actually putting some stuff out here. And here's a really interesting breakdown. And I saw this earlier. I was really impressed with it. And I'm going to give credit to Western Illinois football for this. From Joshua Caraway. He put it out there pretty clear, I thought. And I'm quoting now. This is his understanding. He said, case one, if you've exhausted your eligibility this past school year, you're done. No extra time. Of course, that's where the lawsuits will happen. Case two, if you still have eligibility going into this school year, you get to choose the old model or the new 5 for 5, whichever benefits you the most. And there are examples there. Say player A graduates in 2023, never redshirted, and has played 3 years. Instead of 2026 being his final and fourth year of competition, he could opt into the new model, and that's going to give him 2 more years to play as 5. Player B, the other example, graduated in 2024, redshirted his first year, and medical redshirted in 2025. He would want to use the old model, so he would have 4 years left to compete. The third case he gave was a freshman in 2026 gets to pick the model they want. And he said he assumes most will pick 5 for 5 to get the most playing time. And then the class of 2027 beyond are using the new model. That is an interesting breakdown. There are going to be so many variations on this, and so we're going to have to get a rules education on this process. But the athlete's 5-year clock will not start if you hit 19. It starts if you're 19, and then the academic year follows. So if you're not enrolled yet, you've turned 19. Clock doesn't start when you turn 19. It starts when the following academic season begins. Interesting to say the least, what's going to happen. And then there's some other things that are going on today that we'll get a little bit more clarity. The FBS Oversight Committee has some new proposals that could change the college football calendar. There could be some changes to the activities that teams are able to participate in, commit to in the offseason, spring practice, fall camp as well. One of these will be a new out-of-season activities model, which would replace the current spring practice and summer activities legislation, and would allow FBS schools to conduct 2 out-of-season practice periods with a total of 21 on-field practices. The duration of the 2 practice periods may not exceed 7 weeks, and neither practice period may exceed 5 weeks. Additionally, schools must designate a minimum of 9 discretionary or voluntary weeks for student athletes when required athletic-related activities are not permitted. Also, there's another one. The preseason practice period would consist of 27 calendar days to conduct 21 practices. In making the recommendation, the committee noted that additional practice opportunities would be available during the spring and summer under the new out-of-season activities model, which warranted a 4-day reduction in the length of the preseason practice period and a reduction in the number of practices from 25 to 21. That's an interesting rundown. Here's another one. This will be effective January 1st, 2027. The notification of transfer period in January would change from a 15 to a 10-day period beginning the first business day following January 1st. Interesting proposals that are out there. We'll try to make the most of what happens with hopefully some clarity and some accuracy as these things come down. But we're going to turn our attention to what's happening at Marshall University when we continue. We've got Ryan Crisp coming up, the Associate Athletic Director of Revenue Generation at Marshall University. He's going to break down the Porch for us and everything else that's happening with Marshall University that you need to know about. That's coming up when we continue on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Summer starts here. It's Moses Auto Mall of Huntington 9th Street Live every Friday night in Huntington. Presented by Michelob Ultra, White Claw, Big Timber, and Country Boy Brewing. Friday, June 26th, it's K&B Pest Control Night with Riley Babst on the Marshall OBGYN stage. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Go-Mart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy 9th Street libations from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station, featuring Tito's, Milagro Tequila, Rebel Royal Bourbon, High Noon, and Lucky One. The after-show party takes place at Jerk Riley's at Pullman Square. July 10th, enjoy the music of the Beatles with the Newbies. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August 14th. Sponsored by Wendy's, Huntington Beverage Center, Sods, Apex Tech, The Great Outdoors Marine, Village Caregiving, Thoroughbred Express Wash, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Network Arena, and Kendrick Communications.
Now that Wendy's has these new biggie deals, everyone in the family can get what they're craving, from nugs to JBCs. The parental units can get an $8 biggie bundle, the eldest who think they're so grown can get a $6 biggie bag, and the little one who can do no wrong can get a $4 biggie bites. You know, assuming they have a credit card. No, I'm kidding. We take cash too. 4, $6, and $8 biggie deals for the whole family. Only at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
Injured in a wreck? Warner Law Offices is now here for you in Huntington, on 4th Avenue across from the courthouse. Personal, local, decades of experience.
Call 345-6789.
The future depends on teachers. Every day, teachers are shaping our tomorrows, starting their students on journeys that will change the course of history. Right now, in a classroom somewhere in the United States, there's a teacher inspiring a future scientist who will make preventing pandemics their life's work, sharpening the mind of an aspiring environmentalist who will help combat climate change, and generating possibilities for a student who will be the first in their family to graduate college. It all starts with teachers who meet challenges with creativity, who reinvent education for the future, who work towards a school system that lifts up every child, regardless of race, income, or zip code, and to enable the full potential of our students, our communities, and our country. Explore a career that leaves a legacy you can be proud of. Shape the future. Teach. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thank you, Dave. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow, 10:06, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930, it is Metro News Talk Line. Dave Wilson, TJ Meadows will get your day started off right. Of course, it was great to see TJ and Dave not that long ago at the state baseball tournament, and we're going to talk a little bit about that briefly. Ryan Crisp is joining us, the Associate Athletic Director, Revenue Generation, Marshall University. Primarily, though, we're going to bombard Ryan with a lot of questions about the new initiative with the Porch. But just off the top of your head, how did you feel about that baseball tournament? It seemed like it went off. I don't know if there were any problems, but if there were, I didn't see anything.
Yeah, no, the tournament was incredible. I know, the WVSSCC, Wayne Ryan was very happy. The teams were very happy. I know having the access to the indoor batting cages, we have with the baseball and softball facilities right next to each other. Each team that was getting ready to play was able to have their own indoor area. So the warm-up process, the warm-up time was very smooth. I think we dodged a little bit with the weather. I think there was one delay. But at the end of the day, it really didn't set us back that far. So overall, it was a tremendous week. I know the city of Huntington, the local restaurants felt the effects, saw the effects of the people in town. And so overall, I think it was great for everyone. It was great for Marshall Athletics. It was great for the city of Huntington, and the WSSC and all the local teams were very, very excited and happy. And some great baseball was also played at Jack Cook Field. So. For one of the games, I sat with Coach Beals, and he said, this is good baseball, right? This is good baseball that people are able to come and watch, and the kids were playing for a state championship, and you could tell there was a lot of pride on the line, and so it was a great deal. We've already had a couple recap meetings, and everything has been positive from those meetings, and so we're already looking forward to next year.
Just make sure you're well stocked in your restaurants. If you weren't, now, because all I heard was people were surprised. They did not know there were so many options for them near the stadium, not just immediate area, but close enough. And you can drive a little bit, and you don't have to go too far. But near the baseball park, there are a lot of options for food and other things. it's a win-win for everybody. So again, and congratulations to everyone. I was there for a little bit and got to see the local teams, and I thought that this was probably one of the better, well-run tournaments that I've seen in a while. So I'm sure you've got that feedback as well, I hope.
Yeah, no, we did. Obviously, I think there's an advantage of having it at a place like Marshall where we have a team that's dedicated to putting on events, right? And so we have a crew, Andrew Brown's team, that's what they do. They're event and facility operations. And so we do this all the time, right? We do it a lot. And so it's much easier for us to understand what they're trying to get out of it, us to provide input, us to be able to help on the fly and make sure those events, get off without a hitch. So it was a great deal. And, yeah, the restaurants, and we had so many partners that were tremendous to us in helping provide food for, the umpires or the staff, the teams, whatever it was, that helped us out. And I know they felt the repercussions of people coming to their restaurant throughout that week. So it was a win-win-win for everyone.
Major tournament comes to Huntington for Andrew Brown. It's Tuesday.
That's right. It's no big deal for Andrew. Just runs like it's an everyday thing. No big deal.
Yeah, it's Tuesday at best. Maybe it's Wednesday for him. Who knows? But no, tremendous tournament again. So I hadn't had a chance to talk to you about that on the air about it. So I wanted to start there. But yesterday we got the official word. I mean, we knew this was happening, right? You know how Herd fans are. They like following every single minute of Board of Governors meetings. We saw a little bit of the writing on the wall that this space was going to happen. So here it is, the Porch, brand new experience at Marshall University. First up, before we go into what you get with this and everything that goes with it, why this concept? Why not something that maybe allowed you to have maybe 100, 200, 300 fans, a sort of more of a commons area? What were you looking for when you went for this concept?
Yeah, I think the number one thing we were looking for was something unique, something different, something that is not standard that we don't currently have. And so when we came up with this idea, it was about the people being able to bring their own food in and cook their own food during the game, and not have to worry about heading concessions or getting something catered. Right? They can bring in the hot dogs and the hamburgers or the steaks or whatever they want. They can bring it in and they can fire it up on game day. On their outdoor grill or during the game, before the game, whatever it may be. Having, a private outdoor space that you're able to entertain your friends, family, customers, whatever it is. We put it out yesterday, and the amount of response that we've had has been absolutely incredible. Our wait list for this is so long. It's something that we've never had the kind of interest from something early on. It's always hard to sell something that's not there yet, right? That you can't see, that people haven't experienced yet. Well, this is a little different. This is something that people see the vision, understand the vision, and the interest list is ginormous and growing every minute. And so we're excited about it. The launch, like you said, was yesterday, and really it's just about the uniqueness of what we're able to provide in that space, and for those fans to experience.
So, with that said, the line is long already. If someone was interested in this, is it too little too late, or do they still have an opportunity to jump on board and maybe get in on this?
Yeah, it's not too little too late. So we are letting the list fill up, and then we are going to contact every fan in priority point order that filled it out. And so that history of giving, that history of buying tickets, that's where all this comes into play, is for situations like this. So we'll go through in priority point order, and we'll contact fans, and we'll start at the top and kind of go from there and get people locked in. And then it's important to stay on that list, right? It's just like Sky Suites. It's just like parking. It's just like anything else, courtside seats at basketballs. Everything that we have a wait list for, it's important to get on that wait list, because when you get on that wait list, it locks your spot in line. And so then when something opens up, or when an expansion happens, when we add more, then you're able to get in on that. So definitely important to contact Emily Suter and get on that wait list and let your priority points work for you. And that way, whether it's this year or whether maybe it's a couple years down the road or whatever it may be, you can get locked in. But I will tell you that, we see the effects of this. We understand the amount of energy and the amount of people that have reached out about this. And so, I don't think we're done with the first four, right? We're going to keep on trying to find areas to improve this, to move this, and maybe even take this concept, elsewhere.
I'm curious. You lock your spot in once you get in the initial wait list, and then you're ranked by priority points. Can I do something to maybe improve my spot on the list, or is the incentive get in on this now will lock you in?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, right? Yes, you lock yourself in terms of the year. So you got in on year one, that holds value. And then the other thing is, yes, your priority points will always move, right? So if you increase your Big Green giving, or you renew tickets for the first time, or whatever it may be, your priority points are going to go up, which is going to increase your spot in line. So what won't happen is when someone joins the wait list 5 years from now, they won't automatically jump the person that joined it in year one. But all those year one people, you can move and position yourself based on future giving and whatever else that may be to help your priority points.
Can I lose my spot? Say I locked one of these four unlocked, or can I lose it? I'm just curious.
No, you can't lose it. It's just kind of like Sky Suites, right?
Okay.
Sky Suites, what we do is we'll contact you, and maybe the timing is not right? Like you want a Sky Suite, but this isn't the year for you. We'll keep you on that list, and so we'll never lose you unless you're like, hey, you know what? I found this, or we went in a different direction, whatever it may be. Then we'll remove you. But even if you say, nah, not this year, it's not right for you, we still leave you on that list.
Okay. So I'm good. I'm locked in. I can't lose my spot. So if I'm one of the lucky four, I get the spot. It's my spot until I decide it's not my spot. But if I'm on the list, I can go up and down based off points, not necessarily years. So year twos and year threes don't have an advantage over me. I'm right in. I'm in the initial group.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you're locked in with that year one interest, and then you just kind of let it play itself out.
Why a premium space? Why did you think that this was the way to go? Do you think that this was something that would generate more interest than a commons area where you have maybe 300, 400, 500 people just hanging out at the end zone? Is that maybe the reason why you went this direction, or just was it more feasible to do something like this, which is unique? Because I can't imagine you're grilling out for 500 people.
Yeah, I think there's a couple different layers to that. One, yes, the uniqueness of it, right? We had a space that nothing was happening in, and we were able to execute, this in that space that there was nothing happening. And so one, it was just a perfect fit for that. Two, if you look across the country and if you look at college athletics or even sports as a whole, people are looking for premium spaces. And so last year we launched the deck, right? And that had a great response, and the renewal rate is very high on that. And we're getting new deck buyers every single day. And so that's one premium space that people are interested in. That one's a little different, right? You have different areas to watch the game from. You could be indoor, you could be outdoor, you could be on the field. There's lots of different spaces for you to watch it. And that one, you don't have to worry about cooking or doing anything of that kind of stuff, right? All the food is already there, provided for you. All the drinks are there, provided for you. So it's a little different, but the interest is still there in that premium space. And the one thing that we know is we still do not have enough premium space in our areas, right? Every time we add a premium space, there's a wait list that is occurring, and more people are getting on that wait list. A few years ago, we added these 4 top tables up by the press box, right? And those sold out immediately, and we haven't had the same client is purchasing these over and over again, right? And so the wait list for that is still extensive. And so we're just looking for ways to provide fans with the feedback that we're getting, and this is across the country. What people are getting is that they want more premium spaces. They don't want just the standard, metal bleacher to watch the game on anymore. They want an experience. They want to be able to have their own area that they're able to do something special from. So providing with the feedback that we're getting from our fans, and that's why we knew this was going to work when we launched it, and that's why the wait list is what it is because this is something that people are looking for and they're wanting to take advantage of, and really just showcase, what Marshall is all about and the fandom and how passionate fans are here. You can see it every time we do something, we sell it out, and there's a wait list.
Ryan Crisp is with us, Associate Athletic Director, Revenue Generation, Marshall University. So the photos that were put out, the renderings, is that close to what it's going to look like once this is constructed and ready to go?
Yeah, it's very close, right? It's hard to get everything exactly the way that it's going to look, and you never know what's going to happen down the line. But the idea of the patio, the porch, the grill itself, the outdoor furniture, all of that is what it's going to be. And so, as we get closer and closer, we'll have a more realistic vision. Construction starting later this week in that area. And so I think within a couple of weeks, we'll have, a finished product of what it's going to look like. It's going to be very, very similar to the renderings that were put out.
Logistically, how does this work? You've got the gazebos. Obviously, that's easy to understand. You sit under the gazebo or you sit near the table furniture that's in that area as well. But you've got the outdoor propane gas griddle. You've got the refrigerator and ice service. And so the attraction here is bring the tailgate inside to the stadium. How does that work logistically? What do you say to people when you try to explain? And oh, by the way, you can bring your food and drink in. How does that translate into, okay, am I lugging ice cases? How am I doing that, Ryan?
Yeah, it's very, very similar to the way we handle our Sky Suites currently, right? So you're able to stock your area. There'll be a full-size refrigerator in these, and so you're able to stock your area, any time of that game week. Up until Friday at 5 p.m., you're able to come in and you're able to stock your area. So when you come in on game day, everything's already there for you. And then the same way we do our Sky Suites, what will happen is you'll have wristbands for your patrons, for your 20 people that are able to come into your porch. Those 20 people will have the wristbands. The owner of the porch will have them, and then they will, dish those out to those people. So they'll have a wristband that'll get them into that area. Security will scan their wristband at the entrance of the porch, and then from there you just kind of have a good time, right? So ice is provided. We're able to bring you ice as needed, but then you just stock your area the week of the game, and then when it comes to game day, everything's there and ready to go for you.
And these porches are self-contained, or is there going to be a lot of movement in between porches? Just kind of trying to visualize this a little bit more.
Yeah, no, there'll be a barrier that will separate the porches in between each other. So there's actually a natural stairwell that kind of gives us a natural break between some, but then between the middle sections there'll be a barrier between the two porches that'll give you the four total, two on each side.
I'm assuming that there's going to have to be a little bit of learning safety with the outdoor propane gas griddle. You're just trusting. If I get this space, you're trusting me with the grill, right? You're trusting just anybody with the grill. I'm sure there's some training or something going on here. Again, I'm just trying to visualize how all this works and how you make this the most pleasant experience and safe experience.
Yeah, no, we worked with our safety team on campus to get everything cleared and get everything, everything to the final deal here. It is a griddle for a reason, right? Not an open flame grill, which helped out quite a bit. And then in terms of the instruction and the safety and all that, we don't have the final staffing number, but I believe it's going to be 4 security guards of facilities and a Hurt Hospitality employee that will be stationed with these porches at all times to help with that kind of thing. And so fire extinguishers at every single one, right? All those little things. Once again, our safety team on campus does a great job of evaluating that, thinking through every possible scenario, and then making sure we have a solution. So we worked with the fire marshal, worked with our safety team to make sure that we were ready to go and had all those little details and thoughts kind of checked off the list.
Yeah, and the patio heater. That was a big
right.
one. Yeah, you need that as well.
That'll be a big one for the November game.
Oh, come on. It'll be nice and warm. Come on. That's football weather, Ryan. You know better. Absolutely. Our guest is Ryan Crisp, the Associate Athletic Director, Revenue Generation. So with this space opening up, and I'm sure that you're going to have a long list to go through, the deck is going well. For the Herd fan that's at a different price point, what's possibly changing? What's in store for them? How are you trying to make sure that every Herd fan, at no matter what price point they can come in, has a good experience? And someone mentioned this to me. They were curious, worried that the family price concession stand on the east side of the stadium is going to be so popular that it's going to create long lines. So how have you kind of figured out how to manage everything that you've got, all these initiatives, and maybe alleviate some concerns out there?
Yeah, I think there is a lot happening, right? When Gerald came in, he kind of lived in it last year and and saw, how our game days worked. And, overall, he thought our game days were ran very well. And he thought that, obviously he was impressed with Herd fans and the passion that they had. But now that he's lived in a year, that he does see some areas that we can improve on. And so there is lots and lots of upgrades coming, whether that's stadium signage, concourse signage, right? Little things like that to represent our history a little better. We have a 3D map that is coming for fans. And so, when you're looking for, well, where's the Chick-fil-A at in the stadium? Where's the pizza? Where's the barbecue? Right? You can pull up this 3D map and you're going to be able to see exactly where all of our concessions are stationed and what's sold at each concession stand, where the restrooms are. If maybe it's a first-time fan, or maybe it's one of those fans that comes from, a distance and only comes to one game a year. Well, my tickets are in section 124. Which gate should I enter in, right? What makes the most sense for me? Where should I park? How can I buy parking in this area? So we're really excited about the 3D map that'll be coming live probably 1st of September for fans to check out and see everything. The family price concession is obviously a great ad, right? Something we've never had before. We know the response is going to be very well from that. And so, our concession partner Sodexo understands that the demand is going to be there. And so they've already talked about how they're going to have product ready to go. We actually have a new point of sale system with Sodexo that's going to add point of sale areas throughout the stadium, as well as have a quicker process, including tap to pay for concession stands. And so we're hopeful that will help speed up the lines a little bit. Having the product ready to go will help speed up the lines a little bit. Maybe a little bit of breaking news, but also concessions is adding something this year that's going to be a souvenir cup that you can purchase, and you can get free refills from fountain stations throughout the stadium. So you don't have to worry about, you're just getting a refill. One, if you bought that cup, it's free. And two, you don't have to stand in the line at the concession stand, right? You can go up to the fountain machine and do it yourself, just like you would at a fast food restaurant. And so lots and lots of upgrades coming, lots of ways to hopefully improve the fan experience. I can tell you, I hope the lines are long at the family price concession stand, right? One, that'll prove to our concessionaire that, hey, if we offer this pricing, fans are going to come by it. So maybe there's an expansion to adding more stands throughout the stadium like that. And two, that means that just fans showed up, right? And we have a great crowd. And so I'm confident in our team to provide the best experience possible and forecast as best as possible and have product ready to go. And these new point of sale systems will help speed up the checkout process for fans. But then also some of those little ads, throughout the stadium, I think are going to help just overall cut down on some of the lines and help improve the experience.
Are those cups going to be unique for every game? Just the same cup all season? I'm curious there.
Yeah, no, it'll be unique for every game, right? So you buy that cup and it'll be unique, different every game, and that will give you, the ability to get free refills and fill those cups at the fountain for that game.
Ryan Crisp is with us, the Associate Athletic Director, Revenue Generation. I'm glad you said that because I was asked to talk about Coastal Carolina's concession as an example, and I thought I answered that yesterday for you. I think that's a different situation because Marshall fans are coming for the game. The concessions are a lure to get maybe at other schools. I'm not dropping any shade on anyone, but I think at Marshall University, the concession stands are a bonus for the fans. You're not coming up with silly ways to get fans to come in. You're coming up with ways that will enhance the experience, not just throwing free food at everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I think there's a model that works for us, and I think their ticket prices look a little different than ours, as well. So, would a fan be happier paying, 75 to 100% more for a ticket cost if it was a free concession? Does that really what our fans are looking for, and does that really make sense from a financial standpoint? That's tough to say. Obviously they did it last year and they say they had good success, but I agree with you. I think our fans are in for the game and they're in for Marshall football. And so I think overall we'll continue to look for ways to improve our experience. The refillable cup is one of those situations where that's something that we've heard from our fans that they're looking for, and then we were able to execute on it.
I'm curious what the designs are going to look like. Anything you want to share right now, or are we going to wait for a social media post?
Yeah, that'll be on social. Work in progress.
Okay.
Work in progress.
We get Tony Gibson image 1 week, Ryan Crisp Cup number 2, right?
I don't know if cup number 2 would sell it all. We might stick with maybe Tony, and we'll try to sell that one.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. It's a free refill. I would buy a Ryan Crisp cup.
No matter what was on it, you'd buy it.
Look, I don't care. It's probably better. It's better pricing than the movie theater, Ryan.
That's right. No, 100%.
Yeah. And the show's usually better at the Marshall game. So, yeah, I mean, if it was a Ryan Cup, I would take a Ryan Cup right now. I would have that on my desk as a collector's item.
We'll see what we can do. No promises on that, though.
My friend Ryan Crisp is with us, Associate Athletic Director, Revenue Generation. Before I let you go, anything upcoming or anything happening right now that maybe you want to highlight while I've got you?
Yeah, I think it's all happening, right? Even though it's the summertime and there's no active events happening, right? It's all happening. So our basketball teams just got back on campus. They have camps going on, and so they're back working out. Our football team's on campus working out, working hard. From a ticket standpoint, obviously football tickets, women's soccer tickets, men's soccer tickets are coming soon, July 6th. Those go on sale to the general public. So it'll be here before you know it with the holiday, July 6th. Those go on sale. Women's basketball tickets are on sale. Men's basketball coming up here in a couple weeks. And so it's all happening, right? A lot of people say, it must be, a little slower for you during the summer, right? Because you're not in season. Really, for us, it's opposite, right? It's busy all the time, but especially during the summer, it's when everything actually happens, when all your planning and implementation and everything you want to get done, you get done during the summer. Because once the actual season hits, and there's no time to actually, get anything across the finish line. It's event heavy and event focused, and so, lots of stuff happening behind the scenes. A couple of big projects coming down the pipeline that people will like. And so just stay tuned, and, I promise you this year is going to be better than it was last.
Ryan Crisp, our guest, the Associate Athletic Director, Revenue Generation. Thank you. I appreciate it as always, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good. Paul, appreciate it. Go ahead.
There you have it. Hopefully we answered all your questions about the Porch, and, of course, you can contact Emily Suter for more information. Get on that list now, because if you heard Ryan, he said if you lock in now, you're on the list. You're going to be locked in. You're going to be a lot closer to getting a spot if you don't get it in the initial offering, but you still want to be on that year one list. We will get your text 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 for this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
A celebration 250 years in the making. It's Dog Dazzle 2026. Friday, July 3rd at Harris Riverfront Park. Dog Dazzle 2026 featuring West Virginia legend Kathy Mattea.
18 wheels and a dozen roses.
Plus, special guests Ben Whiskey and Brett Mahon with the Tri-State's largest fireworks. Gates open at 5 p.m. Enjoy inflatables, ice-cold drinks from the Smokin' Jay's beer tents, food trucks, fun and family all night long. Dog Dazzle with Kathy Mattea. Get to 937thedog.com for free ticket locations. America 250. Dog Dazzle 2026. Bark on with Kathy Mattea. Friday, July 3rd. Get to Jerks at Pullman Square for the official after-show party. Dog Dazzle 2026. Presented by Gomart, Austin's Homemade Ice Cream, K&B Pest Control, Michelob Ultra, White Claw, Busch Light, the City of Huntington, the Campbell County Commission, Little Caesars, Gomart, Great Outdoors Marine, Thoroughbred Express Wash, Blinko Glass Company, Wendy's, Tudor's Biscuit World, West Virginia Appalachian Laborers District Council, Xfinity, Miller Lite, Coors Light, Twisted Tea, Encova, Kendrick Communications, and 93.7 The Dog.
Grab the mic and bring the fun to the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. It's Mike Night every Saturday from 8 till 10. Whether you're a total rock star or just a shower singer who loves to have fun, grab the mic, sing loud, and make a night of it. And every Thursday evening, it's Wingo Singo Bingo. Every Thursday from 7 to 9. Singo Bingo plus 50-cent bonus wings. Great food, great drinks, and great fun. Every week at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, across from Pullman Square, downtown Huntington.
This is Huntington Mayor Patrick Farrell. If you haven't been downtown in a while, this is your invitation. Come see Huntington. You'll find families gathered along the river, friends sharing a meal, kids running through the park, music filling the air. You'll find a city moving forward, a city on the rise. Join us July 3rd at Harris Riverfront Park to celebrate America's birthday at Dog Dazzle. Enjoy great food, live entertainment, and fireworks over the Ohio River. Come celebrate America's birthday with us.
I'm with Chris from Christopher's Eats. Chris, the new brunch menu is perfect. I had the steak and eggs last weekend, and my wife loves the brunch bowls.
Hey, thanks a lot for that feedback. It's been great so far. But listen, you got to try the breakfast nachos and the Monte Cristo next time.
Sounds good to me. Plus the mimosas, the Bloody Marys, they hit the spot, but it's only available on Sundays, right?
That's right. It's Sundays 10:30 a.m. to 3.
Try brunch for yourself with Christopher's Eats. Order it online, christopherseats.com, or stop in Route 60 Huntington.
Summer starts here. It's Moses Auto Mall of Huntington 9th Street Live every Friday night in Huntington. Presented by Michelob Ultra, White Claw, Big Timber, and Country Boy Brewing. Friday, June 26th, it's K&B Pest Control Night with Riley Babst on the Marshall OBGYN stage. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Gomart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy 9th Street libations from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station, featuring Tito's, Milagro Tequila, Rebel Bourbon, High Noon, and Lucky One. The after-show party takes place at Jerk Riley's at Pullman Square. July 10th, enjoy the music of the Beatles with the Newbies. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August 14th. Sponsored by Wendy's, Huntington Beverage Center, Sods, Apex Tech, The Great Outdoors Marine, Village Caregiving, Thoroughbred Express Wash, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Network Arena, and Kendrick Communications.
11-year-old Hazel lives in a place that's rich in many things, but not money. As a young child, her job is to play, grow, and learn. But for kids like her in the world's poorest places, poverty gets in the way. There was a time when Hazel had to trek more than 2 hours every day to collect water from a dirty river. Once, when she got a life-threatening infection and her mother had no money for a hospital, Hazel nearly died. But thanks to Child Fund supporters, Hazel and her community now have clean drinking water and access to healthcare. And Hazel has a better chance to fulfill her potential. Child Fund works in 24 countries to make sure children grow up healthy, educated, self-sufficient, and safe, wherever they were born. Why? Because Child Fund knows the promise inside every child is greater than the poverty around them. Learn more at childfund.org.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard, so you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman!
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
304-396-TALK is the text line, 304-396-8255. Welcome back to this Wednesday edition of Your Drive here at ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is open. We'll get to that in just a few moments. If you just joined us, a good conversation with Ryan Crisp. We'll get that posted on our podcast later. And you can go back anytime to our website, WRVC.com, for past episodes. The other news happening today concerning Marshall, it's the Sun Belt and the Mid-American Conference extending the basketball challenge through the 28-29 season. So it's been extended 2 additional years, is basically what this is about. Here's kind of the breakdown of this. And again, this is inconsequential right now. All you need to know is when Marshall plays and the opponent, and you won't know until the draw is drawn. So basically, we're looking at November 2nd and February 6th of the 26-27 season. And we're looking at November 8th and February 5th of the 27-28 season, and November 6th and February 3rd of the 28-29 season. So around the same time. And it's going to flip. So for the 26-27 season, the women are going to be at the Sunbelt women will be at MAC women. The MAC men will be at Sunbelt men, and then that flips. And then rinse and repeat It'll flip again for the following year, then it'll flip back for the year after. Overall impressions, I'm not against this scheduling alliance. There's really nothing about it that at the end of the day seems like it's a bad idea. I don't know in all reality how well it helped the Sun Belt or the Mid-American Conference. It did give a little bit of a, I don't want to say a schedule boost, but it did give you an opportunity to play a like opponent as far as your net's concerned from a different conference. Gives you a boost. So if you look at your conference schedule is your schedule. And how well your conference mates are doing, you can't control. Only thing you can control is your out-of-conference schedule, how well you do against that, how well you do against the schedule that's been given to you. And this is sort of a pickup game. Hey, here's another game. Now, for me, the only thing that maybe has made it feel a little lackluster is that Marshall already schedules several Mid-American Conference schools. Marshall, Ohio should play every year. I don't think that should change. Always should be a spot for Marshall and Ohio. It makes perfect sense. The travel is easy. The familiarity is right there. The fans love to get after each other. It's a good rivalry. It's not a hateful rivalry, at least not to my knowledge. And so that works. You should have that. And you can schedule another team or two from the Mid-American Conference. But if you're going to commit to this thing, and you're going to be a participant, then you got to look elsewhere for schools, because I don't want to overload Marshall with Mid-American Conference schools. I do want a little variety to it. But with that said, you play a familiar foe like Ohio. You play a familiar foe like Miami. I would have Miami, Ohio would be one of those. Then I would look elsewhere. I try to have Western Kentucky on the schedule as many chances as I could get, just to have that old Conference USA battle back and forth. I would look at a few, but with this MAC Sun Belt Challenge, the MAC is a little bit better in basketball, to be fair. So it benefits the Sun Belt a little bit more, you playing better opponents. The Sun Belt in basketball is not the best conference. If you're talking about baseball, it's a great conference. It's a contender. If you're talking about football, it's in the group of six. You're talking about basketball, it's not the best basketball conference. There's no group of six in basketball. It just doesn't work that way. And so this scheduling alliance gives the Sun Belt an opportunity to fill a couple of scheduling holes, play like opponents. So if you're a really good opponent for a MAC team, then you get an opponent that's close to you as far as what the net looks like. And you kind of figure that out as well. You don't want to go crazy. You're trying to have a little logic with the schedule. You probably won't see the same opponent in the same season. Marshall's not going to dial up Ohio in this thing if Marshall's playing Ohio. So it makes a lot of sense from a logistics standpoint. We'll get your thoughts, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter says, Paul, Marshall, Ohio, you should play in football, basketball, and baseball every year. Seems to be a friendly rivalry. I agree. It's a really friendly rivalry. I work with people who went to Ohio. They work with people that went to Marshall. We all get along, but we like to get after each other. More coming up on today's edition of The Drive.
Summer starts here. It's Moses Auto Mall of Huntington 9th Street Live every Friday night in Huntington. Presented by Michelob Ultra, White Claw, Big Timber, and Country Boy Brewing. Friday, June 26th, it's K&B Pest Control Night with Riley Babst on the Marshall OBGYN stage. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Gomart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy 9th Street libations from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station, featuring Tito's, Milagro Tequila, Rebel Bourbon, High Noon, and Lucky One. The after-show party takes place at Jerk Riley's at Pullman Square. July 10th, enjoy the music of the Beatles with the Newbies. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August 14th. Sponsored by Wendy's, Huntington Beverage Center, Sods, Apex Tech, The Great Outdoors Marine, Village Caregiving, Thoroughbred Express Wash, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Network Arena, and Kendrick Communications.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-256-1570. 800-256-1570. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-256-1570.
Mike Rowe here with a fun fact. Did you know that 50% of the air that you breathe inside your home comes from your crawl space? Yeah. Whether your crawl space is wet, musty, or your floors are bouncy, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to repair your crawl space. Baker's Waterproofing and Basement Authority of West Virginia are now Groundworks. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
WVU Medicine Jackson General Hospital, leading healthcare across our region, serving Jackson and Mason counties. BrodyNash.com, Century 21's top realtor since 2015, proudly serving West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky.
Imagine being denied an apartment because of your religion, or your race, or because you have children, or a disability.
It's so wrong.
Yes, but who has the power to stop this?
You do. Each of us has the power. The law is on your side. It's illegal for landlords to discriminate because of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or familial status. If you suspect that you have experienced housing discrimination, file a complaint with HUD immediately so we can investigate it. Fair housing is your right.
Use it.
To learn more, visit hud.gov/fairhousing. That's hud.gov/fairhousing. Or call 1-800-669-9777. 1-800-669-9777. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
I'd appreciate that follow. You can also find me on several different social media networks, including on Facebook. We've got a Facebook page. It's called The Drive with Paul Swann. Of course, hit that podcast subscription button. It's free. Like, follow, whatever your prompt is. We appreciate everybody joining us again tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So we got a lot of information today from Ryan Crisp. The big news, not the Porch, no, that there's going to be the Souvenir Cup. A new cup for each game, and it's refillable if you buy the Souvenir Cup. And you can go refill it yourself. That's the kicker right there. That's the bonus. And Ryan's right. We probably won't see the Ryan Crisp Collector's Cup for Game 2, maybe Game 3 or 4. There's a topic for you. What kind of Collector's Cup would you like? The Coach Gibson Cup? You like the Marco Cup? Obviously, the game for the 75 will have to be 75 themed. I'm sure you could have a lot of fun with this. And Herd fans, it's something new for the Herd shelf in the Herd room. We'll talk to you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.